First, thanks for your invitation, because for us it's a pleasure to come here in this conference. We are 4 colleagues from DG Agri. We are covering all scheme in Common Agricultural Policy. I'm Emmanuel Petel, and I'm dealing with greening in direct payment, but other colleagues are there, and there is colleagues from rural development, from innovation research, and Gaëtan Dubois will develop this aspect. To come back on the Common Agricultural Policy, I will remind some, anyway, key element as regard this Common Agricultural Policy. As you know, there is 2 pillars, first pillar and second pillar. Okay, it's very technical word, but sometimes people who are there are very familiar with that. It's just to remind the fact in the Common Agricultural Policy there is a different objective. It's just to ensure food production, but to ensure as well sustainable management of natural resources and climate practices, and to have a balanced territorial development. It's all component of the CAP, and we are there to look at sustainable management of natural resources through agroforestry. I will come back on the new greening architecture of CAP. Is the outcome of the last reform. This reform took place in 2013, and now we are implementing this reform from 2015. It's just to have a brief overview about the different instruments inside of CAP. And if you start by the bottom, okay, you have agricultural area, and there is some eligibility for this parcel, for field, and Rosa has reminded some criteria about eligibility. But on the top of that, there is some legislative part who guides the farmer and who incentivize the farmer to make some good practices. And we have a mandatory part as regards cross-compliance and greening. It's just when farmer get a direct payment, is supposed to respect some basic rule. We have a cross-compliance, and cross-compliance was introduced in 2003. It's just to say when the farmer gets some premium, he's supposed to respect some environmental legislation, and we have a huge directive in EU scheme, is the Nitrate Directive, for example, and he's supposed to respect the directive. But we introduced in 2013 greening. It's just when the farmer will get part of the direct payment, he has to respect some practice, and I will develop that. And on the top of that, you have rural development. It's just to give the room for the farmer to provide more ambitious measures, more ambitious practice. But it's on voluntary basis, and he will get extra premium. But when we set up this new architecture, we think it's important to provide some background, some advice for farmer. And there is a farm advisory system, FAS, EEP, but it will be developed by Gaëtan, European Innovation Partnership and Research. But I will go in a greening part to say what is the main basic practices is crop diversification, and the idea is to fight against monoculture and to make soil and ecosystem more resilient. And there is measures on permanent grassland. It's just to keep this permanent grassland, and it's the idea of to achieve some carbon sequestration. And we set up ecological focus area, EFA, on arable land, and it's an innovative practice, I would say, in this scheme. And I will go more in detail for EFA. What does it mean, EFA? Sorry. EFA is ecological focus area, and the farmer has to set up on his arable land, on his farm, 5%, and he has to use this 5% by some good elements. And we have taken a decision on that, what kind of element he has to use. And there is a lane fallow, terraces, landscape feature, buffer strip. There is agroforestry, strip eligible hectare along forest, and some cultivated area like cash crop, green cover, or nitrogen fixing crop. It's just we give a menu for member states in order to fulfill this 5%, and after is a farmer has to make a choice on that. And you see in this menu there is a lot of elements who fit with agroforestry, like landscape feature or buffer strip. We have just talking about it with in North America. But there is agroforestry, and agroforestry can be eligible on the EFA, but there is today there are two conditions. This agroforestry area should be granted on the Rural Development Program and should be qualified, eligible as arable land. Is the two conditions. Just to give a more concrete picture about this element, but I will not go so far. Just to say, some member states have a choice to select this element, and I put sometimes the number of member states who choose this element. We are 20 member states in Europe. And you have as well this EFA and agroforestry, where 11 member states in Europe have selected agroforestry to be used on the EFA. Here is the first outcome based on a statistical, I would say, data. We identify, in fact, the share of different elements on the EFA. We collect data from farmer declaration from 2015. 2015, it was the first year of application of the greening, and now we have some result. And you see EFA at EU level represent 14% of arable land. We have some weighting factors in the system to ponderate some element, to mitigate the share of some element. And at the end, EU average is 9%. And anyway, we have the most popular element are lane fallow, nitrogen fixing crop, and catch crop. It takes time for farmers to use, I think, some valuable elements who are benefit for environment. Is like a buffer strip or like landscape feature. We need, again, to encourage a farmer to use it. We will reflect on that for the next coming year. Because we, as regards the greening, just to mention, in fact, we have implemented the green after 1 year, and now we are in a position to try to reflect how to make something more easy for the farmer. It was a commitment of the previous commissioner to say after 1 year you have to see what is the main constraint from the greening on the field, and we have to see if the greening has an impact as regards level playing field, impact on production potential, or to see if there is too much burdensome for farmer and administration. We are in this step. We will deliver very soon a staff working document, and the current commissioner will present that in the coming weeks at the end of June at the council level. But we will try to provide some simplification in the scheme, but our purpose is to guarantee in the scheme the environmental efficiency and the environmental value of the greening. And our plan is to facilitate or to promote more some elements who are useful for environmental purpose, and we will try to work on that and to convince member states, because we are in the Commission and we have some initiative, but after we have to work with member states and with the Parliament as well. It's just to remind on the fact in the presentation, there is rural development as well, and in rural development you have some commitment to set up other measures to improve as well environmental benefits. And you have agro-environmental commitment as well. And inside of this agro-environmental commitment, there is some possibility to support the development and the creation of agroforestry, and to support as well the maintenance of agroforestry. Just to come back at the previous program for the rural development, 2007 until 2013, it was to provide you some figures to say there was 8 national rural development program where there is place for agroforestry support, and it represents 1.1 million euro at this time. Now we continue in this program. We have a provision to in this regulation for rural development to support, as I explained, to support the creation of the agroforestry, but to support as well the maintenance of agroforestry system for a maximum period of 5 years. And we have a definition of agroforestry. It's very, I would say, common definition. This means land use system in which trees are grown in combination with agriculture on the same land. And we have some indication on the minimum and maximum number of trees per hectare, and it's up to member states to define this density. And we have an indicative figures is 250 trees per hectare. Today, we have 36 rural development programs at EU level, and 8 member states have chosen to support agroforestry, and it represents 84,000 hectares of new agroforestry. Just to give you the last figures and last picture. Okay. I have finished to present the, I would say, the instrument of CAP, first pillar and second pillar. I have given you an overview, and today is the state of play of our CAP. After each time, CAP can move, and we can have some other reform, but it depends on the Commission, but it depends on the policymaker at the same time. I will give the floor to Gaëtan.